What I want to do now is define a font for my web page so that I override whatever browser specific font it has set, and my page looks the same and between different browsers, because currently you see that on Firefox the default is Arial, and in Chrome it's Times, but I want them both to be something that I pick. That can easily be done with an attribute called font family. But there are some limitations to font family, and well, let's first just go introduce font family. So if you go into your CSS, right after the semicolon, you could start a carriage return, a new line, and go font dash family, colon. Now, it's time to define a font that you want to use. And if you're going to use a specific name for a font, you're going to have to use quotes. Um, we'll get deeper into exactly how we use font family, but for now, let's just say that we're going to use the name of a specific font we have on our computer, and we're going to have to use quotes as a result of that. Now, I'm on the Mac, and the Mac has a font that is specific to the Mac. I know it's not installed on Windows, and it's called Zapfino. And I want to use that font because it's going to be a good Zapfino. It's going to be a good example of why you want to use web-safe fonts. So using the common CSS syntax, I put font dash family separated by a colon, then I put the actual value. Since it's a font name, I'm putting in quotes, and I'm putting in a semicolon, and I am going to save that. And now let me go and refresh my page. Okay, now as you could see, well, Zapfino is a very nice font, not necessarily one you'd use often on the web, but there we go. I defined the font family, I put it in there, and now if I refresh this too, look at that. We still have two different fonts for our header, but we have the same exact font for our paragraph text. All right, that's pretty cool. We're making progress. But let's now talk about web-safe fonts. Let me talk about how this breaks down. Although it looks the same in both browsers, that's only because I actually have uh, that font installed on my computer, as you could see here in my font book. This is font book, in case you don't know, is just a font management software that comes pre-installed on Mac. We're not going to discuss that. Just the point is, I have Zapfino installed on my computer. That's why it works. Let's go over to a Windows machine. And here's a Windows machine that for sure does not have Zapfino installed. Let me give it a refresh. And as you could see, we can't see what's going on over here. And we could even look at, let's look at the code, and then we could see that in fact we're staring at the right page. Oops. Let's see. It's not giving us the oh, there we go. Under CSS, see, it actually says that the font family is Zapfino, but it doesn't actually render it that way. The reason that is that font is not installed on this Windows machine. So we as designers want to make sure that out of the all the people that come visit our website from different operating systems and different devices, they have a similar experience when they're seeing it. That's why people have commonly chose web safe fonts for this purpose. Now if you Google web safe fonts, you'll see tons and tons of lists of different web safe fonts. Some of them being, for example, Arial. Arial would be an example of one that would work with all sorts of different browsers. So I think Arial, if we just go Arial, let's see how that works for us now. There we go. Okay, you see, Arial all of a sudden is working properly on all of them because it's a web-safe font, meaning that um, a bunch of different operating systems, whether it's Windows, whether it's Mac, and potentially the little guy called Linux, the users are going to actually have that font file installed on their computer. And if you use that font um, in your code, if you define that font, then you could pretty much tell that they're going to have a similar font selection in all three. Rather, in all the various browsers that they have. Um, Although this may feel limiting at first, you actually do have a lot of options, and furthermore, you don't need to just define one font. There's actually a concept known as font stacks, which allows sort of a family of fonts, hence the font family. It allows you a bunch of different fonts to choose from in case the user doesn't have that specific font installed on their computer.